You ready for the second half of the Baddest Witch in the World? So Ramona's at her school parade with all the other kindergartners. She's running around and screaming, "I'm the baddest witch in the world." And she's got a mask on, so nobody knows it's Ramona. Plus there's a lot of other witches running around doing with masks on, just like Ramona's. So nobody really knows who Ramona is and which witch is which. So this will be interesting. All right. Let's see where we left off. We were on this picture. Yeah, I'm the baddest witch in the world. Nobody paid any attention because everyone else was screaming too. The noise was glorious. Ramona yelled and screamed and shrieked and chased anyone who would run. She chased tramps and ghosts and ballerinas. And sometimes other witches in masks exactly like hers chased her, and then she would turn around and chase the witches right back. She tried to chase Howie, but he would not run. He just stood there beside the fence, holding his broken tail and missing all the fun. Ramona discovered her dear little friend Davy in a skimpy pirate costume from the dime store. She could tell he was Davy because of his thin legs. At last, she pounced and she kissed him through her rubber mask. Davy looked startled, but he had the presence of mind to make a gagging noise while Ramona raced away, satisfied that she had finally managed to catch and kiss Davy. So do you see her right here? Then Ramona saw Susan. Uh-oh, Susan's curls. Then Ramona saw Susan getting out of her mother's car. As you might have guessed, Susan was dressed up as an old-fashioned girl with a long skirt, an apron, and pantalettes. "I'm the baddest witch in the world!" yelled Ramona, and she ran after Susan, whose curls bobbed daintily about her shoulders in a way that could not be disguised. Ramona was unable to resist. After weeks of longing, she tweaked one of Susan's curls and she yelled, "Boing!" through her rubber mask. "You stop that," said Susan, and she smoothed down her curls. Yeah, I'm the baddest witch in the world." Ramona was carried away. She tweaked another curl and yelled a muffled boing. A clown laughed and joined Ramona. He too tweaked a curl and yelled boing. The old-fashioned girl stomped her feet. "You stop that," she said angrily. "Boing, boing." Others joined in the game. Susan tried to run away, but no matter which way she ran, there was someone eager to stretch a curl and yell boing. Susan ran to Miss Benny. "Miss Benny! Miss Benny!" she cried. "They're teasing me. They're pulling my hair and boinging me." "Who's teasing you?" said Miss Benny. "Everybody," said Susan tearfully. "A witch started it." "Which witch?" said Miss Benny. Susan looked around. "I don't know which witch," she said. "It was a bad witch." "That's me, the baddest witch in the world," thought Ramona, and at the same time she was a little surprised. Others really would not know it was her behind her mask. Had never occurred to her. "Never mind, Susan," said Miss Benny. "You stay near me and no one will tease you." "Which witch?" thought Ramona, liking the sound of the words. "Which witch? Which witch?" As the words ran through her thoughts, Ramona began to wonder if Miss Benny could guess who she was. She ran up to her teacher and she shouted in her muffled voice, "Hello, Miss Benny, I'm going to get you, Miss Benny." "Ooh, what a scary witch," said Miss Benny, rather absent-mindedly. Ramona thought. Plainly, Miss Benny was not really frightened, and with so many witches running around, she had not recognized Ramona. No, Miss Benny was not the one who was frightened. Ramona was. Miss Benny did not know who this witch was. Nobody knew who Ramona was, and if nobody knew who she wasn't anybody. "Get out of the way, old witch!" Eric R. yelled at Ramona. He did not say get out of the way of Ramona. Ramona could not remember a time when there was not someone near who knew who she was. Even last Halloween, when she dressed up as a ghost and went trick-or-treating with Beezus and the older boys and girls, everyone seemed to know who she was. "I can guess who that little ghost is," their neighbors would say as they dropped miniature candy bars or handfuls of peanuts in her bag. And now, with so many witches running around and still more witches on the big playground, no one knew who she was. "Davy, guess who I am?" yelled Ramona. Surely Davy would know. "Oh, you're just another old witch," said Davy. The feeling was the scariest one Ramona had ever experienced. She felt lost inside her costume, and she wondered if her mother would know which witch she was. And she thought that her own mother might not know who she is. And that frightened Ramona even more. What if her mother forgot her? What if everyone in the whole world forgot her? And with that terrifying thought, Ramona snatched off her mask, and although its ugliness was no longer the most frightening thing about it, she rolled it up so she would not have to look at it. How cool the air felt outside that dreadful mask. Ramona no longer wanted to be the baddest witch in the world. She wanted to be Ramona Geraldine Quimby and be sure that Miss Benny and everyone on the playground knew her. Around her, the ghosts and the tramps and the pirates raced and shouted, but Ramona stood near the door of the kindergarten quietly watching. Davy raced up to her and yelled, "Ya-ya! You can't catch me!" "I don't want to catch you," Ramona said. Davy looked surprised and a little disappointed, but he ran off with his thin little legs, shouting, "Yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of rum." Joey yelled after him, "You're not really a pirate, you're just a mushpot Davy." Miss Benny was trying to herd her 68 charges into a double line. Two mothers who felt sorry for the teacher were helping round up the kindergarten to the start of the Halloween parade. But, as always, there were some children who would rather run around than do what they were supposed to do. For once, Ramona was not one of them. On the big playground, someone started to play a marching record through a loudspeaker. The Halloween parade that Ramona had looked forward to since preschool was about to begin. "Come along, children," said Miss Benny. Seeing Ramona standing alone, she said, "Come on, Ramona." It was a great relief to Ramona to hear Miss Benny say her name, to hear her teacher say Ramona, and when she was looking at her. But as much as Ramona longed to prance along with the marching music with the rest of the class, she did not move to join in. "Put on your mask, Ramona, and get in line," said Miss Benny, guiding a ghost and a gypsy into place. Ramona wanted to obey her teacher, but at the same time she was afraid of losing herself behind that scary mask. The line of kindergartners, all of them wearing masks except Howie with his pipe cleaner whiskers, was less straggly now, and everyone was eager to start the parade. If Ramona did not do something quickly, she would be left behind. And she could not let such a thing happen, not when she had waited so many years to be in a Halloween parade. Ramona took only a moment to decide what to do. She ran to her cupboard inside the kindergarten building and snatched a crayon from her box. And then she grabbed a piece of paper from a supply closet, and outside she could hear many feet of the morning and afternoon kindergartners marching off the playground. There was no time for Ramona's best printing, but that was all right. This job was not seat work to be supervised by Miss Benny. As fast as she could, Ramona printed her name, and then she could not resist adding the flourish, a last initial, her Q, looking like a little cat. Now the whole world would know who she was. She was Ramona Quimby, the only girl in the world with ears and whiskers on her last initial. Ramona pulled on her rubber mask, clapped her pointed hat on top of it, snapped that elastic under her chin, and ran after her class as they marched on the big playground. She did not care if she was last in line and had to march next to gloomy old Howie, still lugging his broken tail. Around the playground marched the kindergarten, followed by the first grade and all the other grades, while mothers and little brothers and sisters watched. Ramona felt very grown up, remembering how last year she had been a little sister sitting on the bench, watching her big sister Beezus march and hoping for a leftover donut. "Ya-ya, I'm the baddest witch in the world," Ramona chanted as she held up her sign for all to see. Around the playground she marched toward her mother, who was waiting on the bench. Her mother saw her, pointed her out to Mrs. Kemp, and waved. Ramona beamed inside her stuffy mask. Her mother recognized her. Poor little Willie Jean in her stroller could not read, so Ramona called out to her, "It's me, Willie Jean. I'm Ramona, the baddest witch in the world." Willie Jean in her rabbit mask understood. She laughed and slapped her hands on the tray of her stroller. Ramona saw Henry's dog Ribsy trotting along, supervising the parade. "Yeah, Ribsy, I'm going to get you, Risby," she threatened as she marched past. Ribsy gave a short bark, and Ramona was sure that even Ribsy knew who she was as she marched off to collect her donut and her apple juice. Sounds like it was a good day for Ramona. See you next time. When we're reading chapter number 7, it's called The Day Things Went Wrong. Might be a bad day coming up for Ramona. I wonder what will go wrong. See you soon.